Okay, so what I wanted to do, we're going to talk about in this next section is the back end, adding other portals, which I want to show right now, segmenting data, integrations, implementation approach, technical Q&A from audience. Okay. All right, so let's start off with, I'm going to jump here a little bit to adding other portals. So we talked a little bit about that earlier, and I'll show you how to do that. But one thing I did want to show, and it was one of your requirements, and dang it, I'm going to show it because I built it. I'm going to show it to you. All right, so when we log in here, we're going to log in as Henry. We've already logged in as Henry. And in Henry, we saw that pretty bland, as you were saying, kind of grays with not enough colors, you know. In the incident form, in fact, I think I still have it up, or did I turn it off? Let's go over here. Let's log in as Henry on the desktop. Password. So Henry sees, when he goes and does an incident, he sees, okay, this guy here, new incident right here. But when Steve, okay, there you go. So there's the lovely gray one. We come over here as Steve and log in here, nothing up my sleeves, and then I hit incident, new incident. You'll see he has a whole different desktop look, dashboard look, and he has a different incident form. I just copied the other one, changed the colors, moved a few fields, tweaked it a bit, and those are some very bright colors you guys have. Yeah. Does anybody have their house painted this color? I live next to a Berkeley guy in California. No, I took that right from your web page. I stole those off your logos. But I lived next to a Berkeley guy in Pleasanton when I lived in Pleasanton, and he had his colors were their colors are equally as bright. They had a yellow and a kind of a teal, yeah, and a bluish teal, and boy, his house just stood out. Anyway, so you can do that. So you can segment not only your portals. You can also have unique incident forms based upon, this is all based upon roles and permissions. So I created this, I created a role, said, okay, whoever has this role associated with their security group, this is what they're going to see. They're going to see this interface, all right? I wanted to talk a little bit about, let's put this away here. So we've talked a lot about altering the solution, and let's jump into the admin right here. So the admin is this little orange guy here. The admin is where you control your security rights. And so if you want to partition, if you want to have one solution, have a different department, different group, this is where you can define that. So right down here, this is the University of Oregon IT Service Desk Level 1. So this is where you can start to segment out data and visibility. So if I look at this is a security group. People are members of security groups, so Steve is the only one. So Steve here sees that interface because his role dictates that. So if we look at this role, which are defined right here, you'll see that role controls that particular view. All right, so they're tied together. So it can be a little confusing. So I created a new form. It's associated with this role is associated with the security group. Because I'm in that security group, this is what I'm going to see. It's kind of like there's a three-way link in there. Does that make sense? Probably not, but trust me, that's how it's done. Very easy to do. Yes, sir? We can bring in your groups, your AD groups, and we can link. We can sync those groups up with the permissions. Yes, the permissions can be in sync. And in terms, yes, go ahead.
That works. That's fine. Other thing I was going to say is in a multi-tenant situation, would you have to go to somebody at a higher level?
Okay.
Manage your group level permissions or?
Okay. All right. So to manage, so the question is.
Do that admin at a tenant level or a department level, so that they can control their own permissions and what have you. So can you have multiple admins? Multiple admins.
You can have multiple admins. Yes, you can do that, and you can segment certain functions amongst the admins as well. So you'll see here, if you look at the security groups, we have an admin, one admin. You can create additional admin levels that have different things they can do. Yes.
I think so. For a user switches
to change those. So okay, let me make sure I understand. So you change your support groups in your OU, in your Active Directory.
So AD, yeah.
You control, yeah, you got your OUs that control.
Moves under
different group.
Organizational unit.
We should be able to do that. I have an architect that I would certainly want to have us talk to verify that we can do specifically that. So I know we can bring in your groups, and those groups can be in sync with the security groups and also teams and work groups. And then permissions are driven by those. So when they change, it should work. But definitely I need him to chat with Luke.
How often then it calls AD to resync?
Well, you determine how often you do that. There's right here under scheduling is where you define, well, can't even hardly see it there. There's scheduling right there where you can define how often you want that to be updated.
And I would assume it probably just, doesn't necessarily assign roles though, but just puts them in a group?
It puts them in the group. It doesn't necessarily assign the roles, no.
Okay.
The roles are assigned to the group. So yeah. Correct. Yeah. In the groups are here. These are your security groups, and these are where you will then determine what folks can see. So under this security group, you've got all of your tables in the database. So you've got your incident table. Let's see. Here's my incident right there. And if you want to factor somebody out, well, here's the role. So here's the incident table. And then right here is the role that is associated with that, and then the users. So this is where you bring these three items together. And then you control the access to each of the applications and their various fields here, and then also rights to those menus. So these are your menu and toolbar actions. So if you don't want anybody to be able to modify dashboards, you would, so they can view this. So this level can only view. He cannot add, edit, or delete dashboards. So he has some restricted capabilities here. So this is where you control that. But under here is where you would then, if you want to set up a real, a basic multi-tenant or situation. So if you've got HR and facilities, you want to segment those out. You don't want people to be able to, or it could be HR facilities, it could be that gentleman's group, he told me PSI, like CSI, PSI. If you want to segment all your data out so nobody can see your incidents, then what you would do is you come up here and you would limit the records based on a criteria, and that criteria would be, and records do not equal PSI. Because if they do equal PSI, then you're not going to see them in reports. You won't see them in reports. You won't see them in ad hoc searches. You won't see them in dashboards. You won't see any of that data anywhere. You can't get that. So that's the easiest way to segment out your PSI data, your organization's data from others. And that way you still have one application to manage, centrally manage, and also have access into seeing all of the tickets if you need to as a root level individual. You can see your tickets and yours and everybody's. So that's the easiest way to do a simple multi-tenant. The self-service portal is already multi-tenanted. People only see what they're allowed to see based upon the portal they go to. So, all right. Any questions on that? All right. So let's put permissions away. It is a little different. So for those who are remedy administrators, it is different. It confused me when I got here because the roles is sort of, the roles in remedy drove a little more than what ours do. And it's kind of, it's different. It took a little time to get my head around it, but I can understand it now. All right. Let's put that away. Now, my favorite part of the solution is the ability to create workflow and to change things. I haven't programmed since college, I have to admit. I've not done any serious programming, some HTML, HTML5, but not any serious. Well, I did a little bit in my blowing stuff up days, but it was Ada code. Anybody know what Ada code is? Hey, brother. Yeah, it was a government contractor, and they love that old Ada. Anyway, just an old programming language. So this application, what makes it so easy and fun is that you don't have to do any coding. If you want to create an application, a whole new app, well, actually, let me back up a little bit and tell you what you're looking at here. So what I've done is I've gone in the admin console, I select create a new blueprint. It's showing you all of the blueprints. So there's incidents right here. There's change management here, the CMDB class structure for the CMDB guys, it's all right here. So these are tables in the database, but they represent applications. And if you select one, I hope you guys can see this. It's a little tough. This one here says edit approvals. So these are your base functions on every single one. If you want to create your own, a whole new application, maybe you want to create your own HR. You just come here, select this guy, begin a new object, and you start your own application development, and you will have, within that, all of these functions available, including right here, edit approvals. So if you want to add approvals to an application, anything, you can do that. The last application I worked on, it was restricted to a couple of things. It was basically change and request. That was it. You couldn't do approvals on other things. And this lets you do it on anything. And you'll see right here, this one is new employee request. So this one is going to start off. So this is the three-step process, very easy to do. The first one is your trigger condition. So this contains basic Boolean. We have a Boolean builder right here, so you don't have to know how to write Boolean. You have to understand how it works, but you don't have to write it. This is your Boolean builder, so we can change these rules, and then you define who the approvers are. And in this case, I just hard-coded Gina in there. But you can put in teams. As I mentioned earlier, you can add teams or relationships or conditional expressions. So basically, you know, if A equals B, then it's C. If A equals D, then have this person approve it, or this team. So you can have those expressions. And then you can also globally or individually define how this is going to work. So if you add a team, let's add a team here. Let's add the cab. You can see down below, you've got the global right here setting, but then if you want, you can have individual teams. So it's a cab. There's going to be more than one. You can define that all members need to approve, a percentage of the team, or a specific number of the team. So this is how you design and change your workflow in Cherwell. Really simple. And then lastly, the third step is those actions, and this was part of your list in that you wanted to deny action. So these are your actions. You've got your approved action, you've got your deny action, and you got your, oh, it's taking too long, we're going to timeout action. So this is where you define what you want to occur. I don't have one defined for this, but you can come here and say, hey, I want to set the field on the form to the status to denied, and I want to run a business rule that moves the ticket back 3 states and then and then notifies people. And this is where those one steps come in, because you're going to link a one step to this. And I'll get to the one steps in just a minute, show you how those are built. But this is where you define your deny, and this is how you set up your approvals. Again, we try to make this as simple as possible. There is no JavaScripting or coding involved. One of our key competitors, lots of JavaScripting if you want to create things like that. Is that a hand, or you pretending you're a moose that lost an hand?
So you can obviously lock down applications.
Yes.
Specific groups of people. And let's call them sub-admins, or basically an admin of a specific subgroup.
Yeah.
Launch this and create applications. Or is this something that would have to be only done by the head admin?
This interface right now is global.
Okay.
And as we're moving into the enterprise space, we are putting those features in where you can say, okay, you can't see these apps, only you see these 3 apps.
Well, but I mean,
but right now it's open.
Say me as a IT person from a department.
Yeah.
Can I go in and create an app for only my department? Or
yes.
am I going to have to put this request to central AI?
No, you can. Well, it depends on your business process, but no, if you have those rights, you can do it.
Yeah, you still want to follow the same, development process, right?
Yeah, if you want to create one for your organization, you can do that. Okay. Yes. And one of the other cool things about the solution is, I don't know if they're going hosted or on-premise, doesn't matter. To us, it's the same solution, but you can also do other fun things like create your own dev site. You can have multiple dev sites. And then when you go in and, let me show you how this works. You see right here, so this is, I'm logging in. I've got all these different dev sites, these dev demos. So I'm building some stuff I'm building my own mergeable application, so I've got a dev and test. So you can set up multiple dev and tests and have those personally in your own box. And then when you're ready, your own development box, and then when you're ready, there is the ability to, well, I have to get out of here, but you can export just your app. You can turn it into a mergeable application, which is another great way to move.
When you create one of those dev instances, is it mirroring everything on the production?
You can well, no, not until you take, we call it a CZAR file. You can download, so you can get a copy of your production, move it into your own dev site, and now you can do it. And you don't, I mean, it's completely separate.
I'm not suddenly going to get a mirror of everything that I have access to.
No. Okay. Yeah, you're going to.
That's a good concept, though, if you think about it, because then you could develop something in your department. If it was beneficial, you might want
well, this sort of means my needs, but I'm going to, bulk it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that mapping function is key, and it's fairly new. It's about a year and a half old, well, year old. Five, six. And it allows you to just take parts and pieces, bundle them up, and then share them and import them. Yeah, it makes it real easy to create packaged applications. And that's what our partners are doing. We now have the ability to stamp them so that so they can charge for them. And maybe you could build some and charge your other departments. Right, so changing an application. So my favorite part is going in here and altering a solution. Did I miss somebody?
I'm curious, is what you're talking about moving from dev to production.
Dev, test, production, yeah.
Configurations, what kind of impact is that on production? Is it off hours, downtime?
Now, if you're pulling in a whole new map, it will impact a little bit. So I would recommend doing it off hours. It takes just a couple minutes to, or less.
Once you actually have the application built, it's about 10 minutes to import it. It's not really going to impact necessarily. I mean, there might be a little, speed impact here or there, but it's not, there's not going to be, it's not going to start kicking off users. But the thing is, you're not going to see that as a user or someone else telling you, because we're all XML definitions, right? So all that's doing is writing the new XML definitions. So I'm not going to be able to see it until I refresh my definition.
So here's a map.
Getting into an environment where you have multiple sites and changes, then are those, do those need to be put in at a global level, or, so kind of like a hierarchy, at the higher level, those changes need to be implemented, or sites be able to implement?
Well, sites can implement their own.
Configuration without impacting other sites.
Well, it depends on how you're multi-tenanted, how you're set up. If most likely you'll be set up with a single. Well, I don't know. I better not assume things. But
well, that's information that make decisions we need to think about.
Yeah. But you can do it globally, and you can do it if you set up your individuals. If you guys set up individual sites, then you'll do it individually. But it's all based upon the practices that you have, and hopefully you use best practices for rolling out applications and things. So.
The concern is that since we're kind of decentralized, we'd like to have as much autonomy as possible.
Okay.
Without messing up somebody else.
Sure.
Or having to maybe ask permission.
Okay.
I would suggest on some of these questions that are more of the architecture related, that we have an offline conversation with
our Western architect.
And so that way we can get some of these questions answered, and he can actually build you an architecture model.
Yeah.
Because if you go on-prem, or even if you go hosted, there's still going to be some on-prem, if you want to put multiple tabs and tests and stuff like that on-prem. So he can build that architecture.
Do you want to include those in the feedback survey or send them to me directly? I'll make sure that's okay.
Somebody's talking about higher pay grades. Luke is a higher pay grade than me. So it's very bright when it comes to architecting and discussing these sorts of things with you guys. So I just wanted to show you real quick, this is a mergeable app. I just went and selected it. All it takes to install these is to start it, say, yes, I agree with the conditions. I trust this map. I've loaded it many times, so I'm going to select the least interaction. If you want full interaction between every load, it'll let you do that. It goes through. So this is how you would pull over your, this is one way how you could pull over your modifications to your application. And it shows me all the parts and pieces that make up this is the release management map. It shows me all the parts and pieces. I'm going to open it in the blueprint so I can tweak it and check it out. And release management is right there. Now, it marks with a little asterisk everything that's changed of the existing application, because it does tie in with other apps, and now I've got my release management app. And there's the form, and this is a swap page, so it'll swap new pages out as we hit that forward and backward button. So that's all it takes to move in one of our mergeable applications into the solution. Was that like 2 minutes? It's very fast. So it's
a great process, really, isn't a whole lot different.
And when it's going to impact, so it's not we're not impacting end users yet. If you've got lots of changes and what happens when you do impact end users is you'll scan for the blueprints, you'll scan to see if you made any mistakes. And doesn't really impact people either. It's so light. And then we're going to publish. And the publish may have a little impact, but it's very, very negligible. So what I'm going to do now is publish. My blueprint is going to do another scan, because I told it, I didn't tell it not to. It scanned it. Now, I'm all loaded on my laptop here, so you got to take that into account. So it's a smaller system. And I'm the only user on right now, but there you go. So it's now published. So if we go over to our user here, and we're going to force a reload. And now when I go new, there will be new release right there. So I can see the release management app. And that's a mergeable application. You go out to our mergeable app store, take it down, install it, put it on your dev site, check it out. Verify it, add fields, move fields if you want, and let's go do that. I keep saying we got to do that. Over here, let's go in. Let's go incident. Let's go to incident because we looked at this one the most. Incident form. And now I'm going to change this around. This takes up too much real estate. I want a big button there. I want a great big one, and I'm going to call it, I can make it red or whatever I want, or I can have it change colors. I'm going to call this my panic button. P-A-N-I-C, panic button. Now, oh, come on. Now, it doesn't do anything. It's just a button. And when you select it right now, if we were to publish it, it wouldn't really do anything. You have to right-click, edit, hit control properties. And now, if I want this button to send a report, if I wanted to do a search or pop up in the calendar, I can choose those. But what I want it to do is to use one of our one steps. And so I'm going to create a new one. I'll call it, I've got my cap lock on UO. This is a one, so this is how you can create one steps. These are the things you can also create as agents. So, but I'm creating it right now as an administrator. So what I'm going to do now is I want it to do a couple of things. I want to tweak the organization. I want to send mail to the VP or the Dean of Services or whatever the case may be. I may also want to run a program, or I may want it to go in and interact with make a web service call, or have a go-to action in there. So you can create many scripts in here to perform many actions. The run a program, here's the key thing though. It's all drag and drop, but when you select the definitions, you just select the box, and it's all down below. There's no programming. The reason I bring that up is our competitor, when you look at theirs, you select these boxes. Some of them are built, some are not. Some you have to go down and actually write JavaScript to make it work. Ours, there's no JavaScript. And a lot of the question I usually get at this point is, well, am I restricted because I can't write JavaScript? So the good anecdotal story we got was from the gentleman from, was it University of Montana, at our sales kickoff? Okay, well, yeah, so this gentleman came and he really wanted the other product really bad, and he was ticked off that they chose us because he thought, oh, I can't JavaScript, and so I'm going to be limited. And he said after a year, over a year, he's not been restricted. He's been able to do everything he's ever wanted to do in JavaScripting. He can do it in this interface here. So I was glad to hear that, because I've always thought, oh, I can't do JavaScript. I'm going to be really limited. But his story really set my mind at ease. So I can say that with confidence now, that you can do whatever you want in JavaScript in here. So there's all sorts of other functions which you guys can't see because it's blurry. Here's the Excel merge. So if we're talking about doing things in Excel, you can merge your Excel data. You can create those child business objects. So this will create a child business object. So you got your parent and all your kids, so your tasks. And then you can put in dependencies in these so that that one box can't be run until the boxes before it are run. So lots of control around those. That's how you create one steps. And then you link it up. Here's an email. We'll link that up to our button here. And we can put visibility rules on that. We have alignment tools. We can put a graphic on it if we want. We can change the color of it here. And then you publish it, you save it, publish it, and it will then be visible to your end users. And that's how you design applications within Cherwell and alter our applications. So questions on that? Right, so we covered one steps and we covered applications. Let's go look at the automation process. So this is your back-end server. Any of you guys are the ones who deal with or design or come up with the back-end integrations or automation processes, meaning things that are going to kick off based upon an event, a time, or a threshold? You and you? Are you getting, so what are your roles?
We do a lot of Git updates on deck, all
Oh, okay.
stuff, Jenkins, release management.
Okay.
I kind of work in middleware.
Oh, nice.
Do all the applications.
Yeah, like to suck your brains out. There's lots of good knowledge in that guy's head. Then, yeah, that's good stuff. You back here, sir? A little bit of everything. Okay. So within Cherwell, you can create. So what we looked at earlier, when we saw that button, that of course is an agent-facing action. He's going to hit a button. He or she is going to hit a drop down. Going to cause something to happen. And what that is, it's up to you guys. And as we saw, we could use that for integrations as well. Now, on the back end, there are things that need to occur as well. So, for example, so a good example is, and we didn't look at this, but you can purchase things within here. We have a partner who's created a nice little purchase mergeable application. We've got it actually installed, and we're using it in my demo here. When you reach a point with the purchase requisition, you need to push that out to a purchase order. And you can do that in their map, but most people, you guys probably have your own purchasing organization. If you want to buy something, you take them to rec, they'll create the order and then send it off. So you can automate that process from Cherwell to your purchasing system. But there's some point in time where you need to transfer that. And what point in time is that? And a lot of times that's where it's been approved. Okay, I approve this purchase requisition now, send it over. So we're going to flag on that approval. So you can do that. What these are business rules that are going to trigger based upon an event, like the approval, or it's going to trigger based upon a threshold. So you've got 50 keyboards, and if you drop down, that's what you should have in stock. But if you drop down to 49, you need to order another one, or maybe at 40, then you need to order 10 more, whatever the case may be. So that's a threshold rule. And these are built graphically as well. Let me bring up a simple one here. And they look very much like the one steps. It's drag and drop your boxes. But you'll notice the actions are a little more limited. And that is because you can take your one steps and incorporate those in and then run actions at a more granular level. So those web service calls, those PowerShell scripts or scripts you want to run, command lines for back-end integration, you drop those in your process here. So this one is actually checking to see if that event, that time, or that threshold level has been met. And this one does a combination of a time. So what they did was they came over here and they dragged this wait for time or event right there, dropped down and said, I'm going to wait for 3 days. Here's the rule right here, 3 days to see if this field here has changed. And if this field, the last modified date field, has not changed, I'm going to run this one step. And this one step actually has two actions embedded. One is to notify, and one is to update the last modified. Now, what I would do next to complete this is I'm going to go say, all right, I gave you a 3-day warning. Now I'm going to give you a 1-hour warning. If you don't update this incident in 1 hour, I want you to, I'm going to come over here and run another one step. Or maybe we do have a send function, an email in this. We have the tweet function in this. We can update the record. So there are some functions you can do here, but the one steps are available too for your integrations and for your multi-step processes. So this is how you build business processes in the back end with Cherwell. Again, we try to make it painless to do this and fast so that you guys can focus on other things that require programming. Yeah. So this is how you build application business process. And you'll see we've got, apologies, you can't see these, but just to give you a few, these are all your notifications of assignment. These are all your notifications for SLAs, resolution, and things like that. There's your surveys. Send out the surveys right here. Our JIRA integration is right here. So this is where many of those back-end processes are built. This is actually where all of them are built, to be more specific. So that is workflow process. And so we've covered workflow. We've covered modifying integrations. We talked a little bit earlier about integrations. Integrations are a little tough to demo. So what I've got here, let's go here. I put this together for you guys, and I'll be happy to share it with you. It's my 15-minute morning right there for myself. So. Feeling the heat. All right, so integrations within Cherwell. We talked a lot at the beginning about mergeable applications, and the integrations are oftentimes listed there. This gives you some information on the platform and that metadata layer where we control and we capture all of your changes and your integrations and all your data so that when you migrate or upgrade, we don't break. And then here's a listing of the different types of integration. So we talked about the Active Directory, it's there out of the box. Also SAML, we do have the SAML, just kind of gave that honorable mention at the beginning. Email, you can use email. We have a parsing engine in there, so you can parse email from people, also event management systems, or anything that spits out an email. We can accept those and parse that data. Then the Twitter, the RSS for notifications, and then OLADB, ODBC drivers, we've got those built in, so you guys can create those integrations for pulling in large quantities of external data. That's basically a three-step process. I can show you that if we have time, but it's a three-step process to do that. Web service, we just took a look at the building blocks for one-steps, and there was that web service call box, and that's where you can do your web service calls. We have a full API. Since it is a .NET solution, we do have the full .NET API available, and then also a subset, which is, when I call it a subset, but it's really almost the full thing. There's the web service API as well. And let's see. These are those orchestration packs we talked about for Active Directory Exchange, and then there's the Azure, the vRealize Now, and Azure's coming out here soon, the next release. And we've got over 100 integrations that we have done with all various products. A couple of the interesting ones. Do you guys use Splunk at all? We integrate with Splunk. That's becoming more, that's coming out more lately. I've been getting asked about that more. So you can use that Splunk to interrogate the data. Let's see what else. Skype for Business. Well, they got it listed there, right? I've got to upgrade my my desktop. Oracle. We also integrate with other solutions like CA for some of their products, and we do have integrations to Remedy, Atrium, if people decide to keep their CMDB, and we can pull that data as well.
So I've spoken to a couple people in the room, and I think the integrations that most of us are interested, which you've already mentioned actually.
Okay.
Arbitrary at the top of our list would be like SCCM,
yeah.
and Jira. It sounds like a lot of people are using.
Jira. Okay.
Can you speak to any of the features of those three integrations?
Sure, I can speak to two of them. The one in the middle I didn't. What was it? Oh.
So Casper is really, that's inventory. So we're going to grab inventory data from that. I don't remember what actions we call back to Casper, but I know for the most part, most folks just want mainly from the inventory perspective. But it does work. It does work.
Yeah.
Yep. And with the integration, once again, some of them are going to be descriptive, so it's going to tell you how to do it, and that's the case with Casper.
So I was just going to, on that, did you hit on specifically that with the SEC integration, kind of like delegate, you can use an instant trigger pushing software?
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Automate. Yeah. So we grab in towards what we call the automate stuff as well.
Yeah.
I saw your integration with nodules on there as well, so you can spawn incidents or nodules alerts.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Any event management system we can do that. Darn near any. I have not heard of any we haven't.
Then the email thing too is that you can parse out emails as well, right? So for example, with like you guys use significant point protection, or you guys work on it now for antivirus?
We're using McAfee.
Okay. Okay, so with McAfee, you can actually have that send off email alerts or email as well, and then from there, it can create an incident, right?
How do you guys like that? We use that too. We just upgraded to that a while ago. You going okay? Yeah, we've had some fun with that. Yeah, especially on our discovery tool. It's been very interesting.
So, Everett, do you have the Jira integration in this?
Yeah, the Jira integration is in this.
I know a couple of guys back here wanted to see it real quick, so if we can just kind of pop it up for 2 seconds.
Yeah, let me go and the Jira requires the VPN connect because it's on our server back east. So I'll give that a second, and let's go over here. So we can look at it from a couple of different points of view. I come over here, see blueprints under incident. It is launched. So this is where, let's see, case. Oh, Jira right here. Excuse me. These are the actions. So this is the post action and an update. So if you want to add a comment. So what you're looking at here is the development environment. So when you install the Jira integration, it comes with these buttons and then the workflow behind them. If you want to see what the workflow is, we can hit control. Let's see. We want this guy here. Let's see, maybe it's add. Control properties. There we go. Post to Jira. So this is a one-step, and this one's quite involved. That's why we built it. There are a lot of steps that need to be done to integrate with Jira. And so this is the process all pre-built for you guys. And you'll see it collects data like the project key, updates the project keys. Let's see, where's the step that actually does the web service call?
Part of the point, though, too, is that we've got this pre-built for you, but if you want to go in and modify it, it's not horribly hard to modify it. It's not like you have to go in and code.
Yep, here's you have to set some JSON code right here, JSON, or however you guys want to pronounce it, and we've written the code for you that's required, and then there's the web method, the web call with the particular web method out to Jira. And so we've got this all built for you. So there's the call. Again, this is a one-step. And then you've got success criteria. So we do wait and capture what that success criteria is to let you know if it actually was successful, and if not, and then you have information that will process. So this is how it's built. I have to admit, I'm not an expert in this, but this is what we've built for you guys already out of box. And then there's also the update. But how you interact with it is, let's go find an incident. Let's go back here. Let's go over here. Let's see if we've got incidents. Which one here? In progress, printer is dead. Let's take this one. It's just a simple one. And now we can post to Jira. Keep your fingers crossed that the VPN is connecting okay. And it is now posted to Jira successfully. So part of that workflow as it's going through, it's verifying that you got a good statement back, and then you've got your Jira link right here, and I've got to remember my password. Right, there we go, it remembered for me. Thank goodness, because I didn't remember that. All right, and there it takes us right to Jira, and it's a two-way integration. So when Jira updates, it will write back to the journal the information back to Cherwell. Yeah.
As long as you create the Jira incident within Cherwell?
It goes both ways. I've not ever done it the other way.
We just did it, so it goes both ways.
Yeah, it's a two-way.
So if I create something within Jira without ever touching Cherwell, Cherwell will find it.
Well, you have to. It's like the same way. You have to come in here and say, okay, create a Cherwell incident. It's got to know to talk to it. Create that.
That was my question. No, we don't. How does it know that? No, we're not.
Not automatically yet. But yeah, you have to give it a post. And then if you want to add comments, you just come in here and add a comment, and it'll take this and moves it over to. And the same with the del case, which would be your SCCM sample, similar to your SCCM. You could create a del case. Now the del case isn't showing up here because it's not the right service type request. So if it's a particular type of service request that requires a del case, like if I'm ordering something or pushing out that software, then I'll see those functions there. So now back to the SCCM integration. We got 1 minute. So for those integrations that require pulling in large blocks of data, as I mentioned, it's a real simple three-step process. You first, on the admin side, you create your external connector. So I've got one to SCCM right here, and I've got a sample database in here, and I choose. So you define that connection. Where's the database? What table within the database? What are your credentials? And database owner or the schema, and then some pooling data, and then you give it a test. You can test to see if you can connect to it once you get right here. So it gives you the connection string, and now I've successfully connected. And you can modify this connection string if you want. This is probably putting half of you to sleep because it's kind of in the weeds, so I apologize. So once you've got your connection set up, then you need to go, let's go back here, need to say, okay, where am I going to move the data to? So I've got the connection, but I don't know where I'm going to put this. So you can create a couple things you can do. You can create a table, and then within the table, So you're creating a new business object. We can come over here, and now there's a function here to map to external data, and this is a mapping tool that will allow you to then go in and import that data and map it to the various fields. That was, I played with that the other day. It's supposed to be SCCM data, not our discovery tool. And then we'll come here and find the SCCM. There it is. There's our table. And now we'll go through and do our mapping. And if you forgot or you didn't put that field in your table, you can do it dynamic. You can do it on the fly. So you'll see right here, if I forgot to put a RAM amount in there, I can say create the new field right now. So if I didn't remember to add it, it does it for you. And it'll copy that and give it the same name and everything. So this is where you create your mapping. So that's two. So you've got the connector, you've got the map, but it needs to know when to move the data. So that information is then stored or programmed right over here under scheduling. You edit schedule, you do an add, and you select your action right here, which is going to be, so there's backup. There's all kinds of fun stuff in here. Backup, database maintenance, import external data. And then you define where you're going to, you define which one it is you're going to import, and then you set up your schedule. And if you have a reoccurring, this is how you define your schedule. So that's the 3 steps for your large blocks of data coming over from any source. We have all those connector types that you can use to pull that data in. Seem simple? We try to make it as simple as possible. We don't want you guys spending all your life managing this. We want you to be working autonomy. We want you to be working on the other fun stuff, other stuff that gives you headaches. We don't want to be the headache in your life.
We like you guys, but we know you don't want to call us all the time. So.
Well, you call him.
Yeah. Actually, that's a question.
I have 3 daughters. Don't call me. Call him. He only has 1.
Support.
Yes.
Would that all have to go through Central IS, or would individual groups would they?
For tech support?
Yeah, we can actually add users on to our support. So it's 24. We actually just announced 24/7 support last week. So we got 24/7.
That's in-house.
It's all in-house. Yep. We don't outsource anything. So it's all in-house. For the most part, all our support's done on Colorado Springs. But if you call late night, you may get someone in the UK. So.
And they speak really strangely. Oh, I got to be careful with that, don't I? Does anybody here speak British? Britishese? Okay.
Yeah, then occasionally we have some folks in Australia that support.
Don't want to offend anybody.
We're trying to do the around-the-clock support thing, but yeah. But for the most part, Colorado Springs.
I apologize if I offended any Brits here. So sorry.
Is there a cost to add?
No.
People?
No. We, I mean, you know, Cherwell's small enough and we're friendly enough that we'll work with you. You know, we're privately held, so we don't have Wall Street to be open to. So we're not going to nickel and dime you every time you breathe. Every time you decide to step on some scratch, we're not going to, charge you for that, right? So, we're going to work with you to make sure that you get what you need.
And I'm going back to the beginning real quick because we talked about dashboards as a reporting mechanism, but we didn't mention that we have 150 out-of-box reports. We have a report builder. I've gone and linked some of those reports right up here. And we also have an ad hoc search engine. So if you want to search using Boolean, we've got that Boolean creator where you guys can go in. This is an out-of-box report. You guys can modify those, send those out. And then here under searching, we've got hundreds and hundreds of these crazy things.
Any of this, once again, take any dashboard, take any search, one step, copy, edit, modify, clone, recreate,
yeah.
whatever you want to do.
And this is your ad hoc, so you can create new ad hoc searches, save them, and then once you get the data, you can group it. So if you want to group everything by status, you can do that. You can export it. You can add new fields.
One thing to know too, when he grouped that, if he was to back out of it and come back in, it was date his.
They're my groupings. Yeah, and then you can once you get the data you want, you can either export it, or if, for example, you can run one-steps on it. So you can create, if you're an asset manager and you need to move everything from active to retired, you can create a bulk action in your one-step manager to go in and change everything, all the data.
You're the move to IS, right, from one building to another. All of a sudden, these assets go from one building to the next. Hey, guess what? I can take all these assets, hit a button, and move those automatically.
And for the asset managers, It will log it in the audit trail if you're auditing that location field. So it'll report it for you. Date and time stamp. Other questions?
Last question.
1 minute.
I know.
Sorry, you've run out of questions. Go ahead. No. Go ahead, Ken.
So I see you have two applications there. There's the orange one and the blue one, correct?
Yeah, and then there's the mobile apps as well, and the browser apps.
So can you do all of this administrative stuff from the web browser, or do you have to do?
That's a good question. We were talking about that earlier. So the browser in terms of, so the orange pill here, we call it the orange pill, is your administration. It is a desktop client. So
do that from
that's your security. Yes, you have to do it from a desktop. That's your security, your, what?
Windows only.
Well, what did you ask?
Windows only.
Windows only, yes. Windows only at this time.
Well, unless you have
Unless you have,
Right.
yeah, but that's,
Yeah.
Theoretically.
he's a sales guy. I've been corrupted by the sales
You can
people.
also try to make it into a Chrome app too, that launches and run it out of Chrome app.
He's a smart sales guy.
I've actually done it. That's how it works.
So, correct. It is a Windows client. And now on the agent, the desktop agent has a couple of extra functions that the browser agents do not. And they're administrative functions. That's what I consider them administrative functions. So let's go back over here. So you can manage tickets in a browser. You can process a change request. You can initiate approvals. You can do all of the basic business processing within the browser. There's the key things that you cannot do yet in the browser, and that is creating things such as, or modifying things such as one-step. You cannot create a one-step yet in a browser, but if you do any of these functions in the desktop client, they will be fully available in the browser. So if you create new calendars, you create new one-steps, you can do searches there. If you create and modify dashboards, those have to be done in the desktop, and then they will be available in the browser.
And then also too, from the desktop side, that you can also run multiple commands on people's machines. You can already key. So there's things that you cannot do in a browser from a security perspective. Security guys really shoot you if you try to, that you can do from our local client as well. So there's not one client to rule them all, as much as other
Yeah.
but there is not.
Who knows that reference? Not one client to rule them all. Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
For the working multiple software environments.
Yeah.
So if you're in the Mac environment and then you need to run machines in the Windows environment, you bring up a client. If you bring up a client there, you're going to be. It's one license. One license.
Yeah.
You could actually be in all. So you can current by user, not by device.
Session-based. It's session-based. So it's, yeah.
But I could have it on you could have Android, iOS. You could have Android, iOS, HTML. We also have an HTML client as well for things that aren't Android and iOS. So you can have those three. You can have the Windows. You can have your admin, and you can have your other browsers.
But if you're connected on the Windows and you bring it up on your Apple machine, that's too low.
No.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're both connected,
Mm-hmm.
Just based off you. It's not based off the machine. And can you have both of them currently running? Yeah. So you have no great. Unless you want to set it up that way. But I don't see why you would.
So I'm going to bring this up. If you guys want to try, if you want to test out the mobile solution, you can download it. We have a public test site. You'll see the URL at the top. I'll give this to you.
Okay.
So if you guys want to go and check it out, you can download it anytime and then get rid of it when you're done. But there's the HTTPS location of the server, and then the username, Henry, and password will get you into the mobile solution. So if you want to test them out and see how they work, you guys can certainly do that. We didn't drill into that.
With full transparency, our iOS app is farther along than the Android app. We just went to a new mobile development platform, unified mobile development platform about 6 months ago. So iOS was the first thing, obviously, that we went. Android's coming out here pretty quick. So that's
because I feel like asking the question, Windows mobile app.
so.
Not yet.
So really quickly, for those of you who need to go, you're more than welcome. If you guys want to stay.
Yeah, so the answer to that, there's kind of two. So right now it's HTML.
Sure.
So we do have an HTML app that you can utilize. set it out for requirements yet, but Microsoft wants us to do it also.
And they're actually evaluating our software to use it. We've got a really tight Azure partnership with them. And
yeah, they also want us to integrate Hollow into Cherwell as well.
Okay. Would that be wild?
So, but that's where the app is, because we want to basically be able to have a virtualized support experience with Hollow.
Yes, you just do that. What was that other? I love movies. What was that other one? Minority Report, where he was. Yeah, want to do that with help desk. You know? Assign this.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I mean, but that, honestly, it's probably not too far out. So they're working with us on the roadmap now. So we got all into the roadmap. No one knows one yet. You guys are working on it. I told them I'd get some free software if they gave me one.
How much are those going to be?
They're a couple grand right now. Yeah.
So hopefully you got what you needed. Hopefully I didn't kill anybody with getting too technical, but just keep in mind the product is built to be ready to go out of the box. It's ITIL-centric, but that doesn't matter. It's just basic practices. You guys can modify. The biggest technical advantage is you guys can make it conform to each of your different departments. How you wish.
So with all that said, thank you, Everett. Nice job. So you guys look at our slide decks that we had, the mobile stuff. If you have any questions, I'm sure Kelsey knows where to find me. Usually if I'm in town, I'm on website, you can find me there. But we also do a POC or POV type deal as well. So if you wanted us to put in a sandbox for you guys to go in and kind of bang around on, we can set that up for you pretty quick, 30 days, and that would give you guys some, the ability to bang around on it. So, yeah. Cool. So once again, thanks again, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for enduring 3 hours with us. Appreciate that.
That was only 3 hours.
Only 3 hours.
Only 3 hours.
Hey, we did Monday. It was 7 hours.
No, it was longer than that, dude.
Longer than that?
It was 8.5.
Well, you stayed longer too.
Yeah.
8.5 hours. So this is nothing.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah, if you tuned in the front.
Yeah, I mean, it's one and all. Yeah, I just don't know what's going to be better products.
There.
So you survived more than 10 years. Congratulations.
I know. 1988 until 2000.
I cheated. About 8 years since. With Peter back in the 90s. I was working with Peter and got acquired.
Oh, wow.
So I still have the blue and white leather jacket.
Very nice. So were you worked at the old one? First one?
Yep.
On the mall side?
Second and third floor. Mostly mall side. I was tucked in towards the center after a bit because I went to the dead schools group for a little bit when they acquired Tank, and then got punted over to the PTA because they needed help. So I was sort of a jack of all trades.
So now long guard kind of like, the right?
Yeah.
It's really awesome. And,
Still is.
yeah, being able to call in. Actually, I always like the integration that they did, right? To be able to. Okay, cool. And the last one.
And at the time, nobody else could touch it.
Yeah, the file transfer technology.
Yeah, that is about 5 of the gray hairs I have up here right now.
Yeah, working on that.
Hell no. No, I actually started, Peter hired me to work with Jeff Blattner on the Mac Facility.
Oh, wow.
And so I worked with Jeff for probably about 3 years, and then doing everything. It started with the utilities, went to the antivirus, back to the utilities, and then...
Oh, let me stop real quick, because
Solution.
we're picking up our conversation. So.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. Oh, cards.
Yeah, business cards for both of you.